Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Panther Airsoft Holding Table Talk. This is episode 88. Today's date is June 3rd, and today we will be talking about Bill C-21. It is back. Worse than ever.
Bigger than ever,
What?
baby.
What?
Bigger
What?
than ever.
Bigger
What do
than
you mean?
ever.
What do you mean it's back?
C-21-2, Electric
Yeah,
Boogaloo.
so
Yeah,
joining us is
2.5.
Dayton, which is, we're all going to be heavily affected by this bill. So we're going to try and keep our personal opinions to a minimum right now because we will go through an educational and informational piece. Going through the history, we're going to break down the current and as well as the proposed law and the current status, the impact. I'm sure, Dayton, you're going to feel that impact once it goes through royal assent. What you should do, contacting your members of parliament, and why is letter writing so important.
Mhm.
So let's get straight into it. So Bill C-21, reintroduced by our public minister, the Honorable Marco Mendicino. Is
Yeah,
that how
that
you
guy.
pronounce his name?
I would
Sure.
just
I
stick
just
to
call
the
him
first name,
Marco.
man.
I just call him Marco.
Good old Marco.
Yeah, so it was introduced as of May 30th. Bill Blair introduced the previous C-21 back in February 16th of 2021. So he was our guy to try and reach. Now Marco is the guy that we're going to try and reach to see if we could, figure out what's going on here. The goal again is to curb gun violence in Canada. This time they specifically included air guns because they now know where we sit in the gray area, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So they did mention it in their press conference when I was listening to it, and my heart dropped right away when I
Yeah.
knew right away that when they were mentioning air guns and airsoft and replica guns that we were in the sight lines. Yeah, like I said, this segment is gonna, we're gonna break down some of the things that you need to know so that you're well armed and well prepared for the, for the onslaught of information that people are gonna ask you when you're an airsofter. A little bit of history here. We'll go through it. So February 16th, 2021 is when they introduced Bill C-21 version 1.
Mm-hmm.
At August 16th, 2021, Justin Trudeau requested the Governor General to dissolve the Parliament and cause a snap elections. Bill C-21, therefore, is tabled. So that means that it doesn't continue on. It did reach second reading from its history, but from there it basically died out because the election was called in. September 20th, September 20th, 2021, Liberal Party wins 157 seats, effectively winning a minority government. So in Canada, you need about 170 seats to become a majority government. And the biggest shocker came, and we saw this in ASIC, is April 15th, 2022, Liberal and NDP form a coalition government so that they can pass laws that they both agree on easily.
Mm-hmm.
So that is, us in ASIC, we knew right away that we were in trouble because looking at it, we're like, oh no, like if they get 170 votes, that's a majority right there.
Yeah.
And then, worst comes to worst, just a couple of days ago, May 30th, 2022, Bill C-21 2.0 reintroduced to the House of Commons with minor changes. Not major, minor, like very small changes, but more to firearms owners. But there was no amendments to air guns, airsoft, or anything in general. Everything remained the same for us, unfortunately. So, that is the little bit of a history portion here. Now let's go through some of the breakdowns of the current law and the proposed law. So let me provide you guys a PowerPoint slide. Now, for my mods out there, can you please share this with everybody? I will go ahead and the PowerPoint here. I love PowerPoint. And I will share it with you guys. I can't see. I am. Technical difficulties. All right, here we go. And screen share. There you go. Can you guys see it now?
Yes. Affirmative.
Yes. Affirmative. All right. Can our audience see the PowerPoint slides? Moderators, can you do a good job of sharing that? Thank you. All right. So
Luca's here. What's up, Luca? Nice kit, buddy.
All right, perfect. So we're going to go through the first slide here. You guys have to manually hit the next slide So current laws right now. So we hit slide 2. So in the criminal code of C-46 Section 2, firearms. The definition of firearms means a barreled weapon from which any shot, bullet, or other projectile can be discharged and that is capable of causing serious bodily injury or death to a person and includes any frame or receiver of such a barreled weapon and anything that can be adapted for use as a firearm. So we all know what a firearm is. That's the definition that the Canadian Criminal Code defines it as. Next up is Replica Firearms. So we all know that Replica Firearms is prohibited. So it says right there at the very bottom, prohibited means Replica Firearms.
I don't see.
What do you mean?
What do you mean? I love
Can't see it,
Replica
it's not
Okay,
real.
well, the dumb part
So
that
real.
is
No.
is that it's been like this for a while.
This is the
right?
current
Like,
law.
yeah.
This is the current
Yeah,
law. So
yeah.
Replica
This has
Firearms,
been like this for a long time.
Yeah.
means any device that is designated or intended to exactly resemble with near precision a firearm that itself is not a firearm, but does not include any such device that is designed or intended to exactly resemble or to resemble with near precision an antique firearm. So there is a loophole there with the antique stuff, but we don't mess with that. So there it is. Prohibited device means a replica firearm. So that is the current law right now. All right. People complain that they can't see the slides. There you go. If you guys,
Yeah, no, yeah, because that
thank
was
you.
it.
all right. Next up
Message history is still needed.
is this is Criminal Code C-46 Section 84. This is basically saying that certain weapons may not be deemed firearms under the Firearm Act, does not require a firearms license or owning, and is regulated any barreled weapon that is not designed to adapt or discharge that exceeds 7 or 5.7 joules. So this is basically the huge sort of like, this is where we get put in a gray area, right? So
Right.
we're not shooting over that 5.7 joules, which is basically considered a firearm. I think that is 500 FPS at that point, and does not require a license to own. It is unregulated. And
Wait, what? But sorry, what? Boy, 500 FPS?
is that what it is?
No,
5.7 joules?
500
No,
FPS makes it a firearm. Makes it illegally
it.
defined.
yeah,
firearm.
yeah, makes it. Yeah,
Exceeds.
but
Yeah.
152.4 meters per second is basically 500 FPS.
Okay.
yeah,
There you go. All right. So this is you'll see this on the C-21 changes. It's going to look different when we see it, but this is currently what it is now. For the purpose of section 91, 95, 99, 101, 103, 107, 117.03, these are basically like 99 to 100 traffic offenses, 101 transfer without authority, exporting, importing, 103, 104, offenses relating to loss, destroy, or defacing weapons, 105, 106, and 107 falsifying statements of 105, 106, and 117.03 seizure on failure to produce a authorization, so meaning a license. So it is the following weapons are deemed not to be firearms. Any other barreled weapon where it is proven that the weapon is not designed or adapted to discharge, a shot, bullet, or projectile at a muzzle velocity exceeding 152.4 meters per second, or a muzzle energy exceeding 5.7 joules.
Yeah.
Or a shot, bullet, projectile designed adapted to attain a velocity exceeding 152.4 meters per second, or an energy exceeding 5.7 joules. So if we're below that, we're basically in that what we call that gray area.
Yeah, and sorry to interject there, Poi, but I would just like to point out, because just so that people understand this, is that right now with the ammunition that we do use, we actually do not exceed 5.7 joules, even if you shoot at 152.4 meters a second. Actually, if you use, let's say, 0.45s and whatnot, you're going to be shooting around 5 joules at 500 FPS, but you're not going to be allowed to shoot at 500 FPS at most fields. So therefore, we totally play within these gray area rules. Yeah. Just so that people are clear.
Yeah, I believe that we made ourselves clear from the first C-21 where they knew that we were sitting in that area. I think that's why they targeted us more, but that's my personal opinion. I will continue on here. Next up is
No opinions, Poi. Come on.
Yeah. Stick to the PowerPoint. Stick to the PowerPoint.
Sorry. I'm sticking to the words here. All right. So this is the CBSA Importing and Exporting Firearms, Weapons, Devices Memorandum D1913-2. Replica Firearms. All right. So in here under Section B, airsoft guns and certain types of paintball guns or markers may qualify as a replica firearm if the muzzle velocity of the projectile does not cause serious bodily harm and other external features clearly designed to resemble specific, readily identifiable make model of a firearm. To be considered a firearm within the means of Section 2 of the Criminal Code, airsoft gun fires a 0.2 gram 6mm plastic pellet must have a muzzle velocity in excess of 111.6 meters per second, 366 feet per second. So this is where we get that 366 feet per second minimum. This is the CBSA guideline.
Yeah,
Law,
for
but
importing.
it's a guideline for importing.
Not once you own it in Canada.
Once
this
you
is
have it in
just
Canada,
importing.
this is just for importing. So they're gonna try and close. They're basically closing this loophole with C-21. All right, let's move on to RCMP, firearms, class of firearms, specific types of firearms. A replica firearm. A replica firearm is a device that is not a real firearm. Thanks, RCMP. But one that was designed to look exactly or almost exactly like a firearm. Replica firearms are prohibited devices in Canada. Prohibited devices. Okay, cool. Airsoft guns. They mention it here. Airsoft guns are devices that have low muzzle velocity and muzzle energy, usually discharges projectile made out of substance such as plastic or wax. Have we ever had wax? I don't know.
What? Wax?
Yeah. Cool.
Like-
All right.
I mean, maybe?
An airsoft gun fires a 0.2 gram 6mm plastic pellet. They call it pellet. They're calling it the proper name. With a muzzle velocity below 111.6 meters per second, 366, and resembling with near precision an existing make and model of a firearm. Other than an antique firearm, it is a replica firearm and therefore a prohibited device. So anything lower than that is called a prohibited device, unless it's a antique firearm. So there you go. There's the two sources of that 366 for importation purposes. RCMP mentions it as well, and that's where we're at with our current law. So overview: airsoft guns are legally a firearm in the criminal code. It must shoot over 366 FPS so that it won't be considered a replica. Replicas are basically exact, near precision of a firearm that is currently out there that is either prohibited or regulated, and that's considered a replica if it's not shooting or if it doesn't have any muzzle velocity. Right? But it must shoot lower than 500 FPS or 5.7 joules so that it would be considered like an airsoft gun. Anything over, you're considered a firearm and you need a license for it. So there is our gray area. Easy enough to follow, I hope.
I think so. Yeah,
okay, so that is the current law. Drum roll, please.
All right. What
Bill
drop?
C-21 reintroduced May 30th, 2022.
But you just reintroduced. Okay.
21.12.
Yes.
21.122.
Actually, to be honest, guys, I actually didn't make any changes to this slide. This was the same slide from last year. That's how much. Yes.
There were no
There was no changes. So, Bill C-21 proposed changes. The bill ensures mid-velocity replicas firearms are prohibited. So that means that covers that 366 all the way up to that 500 or 5.7 joules. Updating the criminal code to ensure that any devices, including any unregulated air guns that look exactly like conventional regulated firearms, shoots over 500 FPS per second, or shooting over 500 or below. Sorry, I should have said below. Is prohibited for the purpose of importing, exporting, sale, and transfer.
Also, to clarify, it says prohibited, not restricted.
Yep.
Prohibited.
Like they went straight to
like
the
right away.
Ah!
Yeah.
Right? There was no
Straight
chance
to
for
bonk.
amnesty or some kind of working around.
Straight to jail.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
Like
Straight
right
to
to
jail.
jail.
So
Yeah.
here's
Overcooked chicken.
here's the catchphrase to it. Current owners may keep their replicas but cannot transfer them to anyone else because remember, it is prohibited for the purpose of importing, exporting, sale, and transfer.
Mm.
So
right.
they're saying in the press conference that airsoft is not being banned, but the definition of the rule is basically squeezing us out from it. So there's no more importing of realistic or, ones that replicate, ones that are already regulated or restricted.
What 98% of the guns are that people own at the
Yes.
airsoft fields.
No further
Honestly,
replicas.
I would even say it's like 99, man.
Yeah.
Like there's like what? Like one or two like niche, super niche guns
Well,
out there.
I think what is do we know the age range for what was the wording?
Antique.
Antique firearm?
It's like 1876 or something.
It doesn't have to be that old, because like
something
so we're
like
doing
that.
ramrods.
like would
and,
World
and
War
balls,
II guns be
boys.
considered old enough? Like, would we still be able to play airsoft? It would just have to be
That-
1942
that is-
all the
is
time?
18
That is one of those questions.
1897. So
That is-
1812.
I'm-
boys. I
I'm-
wanna
that is
see
one
it.
of those
Best
questions that we have to
1812
ask them as
impressions.
well.
I'm
That
just
is one
saying,
of
I
those
was off
questions.
by a little bit. Okay, I was
Pre-World
just off
War
by a
I.
little bit there. Yeah.
So that is one of the questions that we have to ask, or like our many questions that we have to ask to the government. But let's move on here. Further replicas. No further replica firearms could be imported into or sold or transferred in Canada. So that means that airsoft stores can no longer import them, can no longer sell them, can no longer transfer them in Canada. This amendment does not affect other types of air guns that do not exactly replicate a conventional regulated firearm. So, are we doing Nerf now?
Excuse me, sir. Is that a pistol grip? That looks like a firearm.
That looks like it was made after 1897.
Sir, is
So-
that
It's
That's
flintlocks
replicating-
or bust, boys.
sir?
Alright.
Is that a laser tag
It's gonna
gun
be a
that
lot more
shoots
knife
over
fights.
500?
If I want to
per
put
second?
an IR freaking illuminator and freaking laser on my freaking bolt action or freaking whatever, I'll do it.
That's
guess
gonna look
so.
that's gonna look weird having a blunderbuss or a musket with like conventional lasers and like EOTechs.
And are muskets
It's all-
going to be allowed to be semi-auto, or is
It's
it
all
actually
fun
going to
and
be?
games until I come out with my nods.
It'll be just like South Park. The sniper and the musket will have full auto.
Yes, perfect.
Okay, so let's move on here to what they're planning on changing. Here we go. So the very definition of replica firearms has been changed. So this is 1.1.11 definition of replica firearms in subsection 84.1 in the criminal code is replaced by the following.
So this is like the thing that's being prohibited. This is the definition of what it is.
Yeah. So replica firearms means that a device that is designed or intended to exactly resemble with near precision a firearm that is designed or adapted to discharge a shot, bullet, or projectile at muzzle velocities exceeding 152.4 meters per second and a muzzle velocity energy exceeding 5.7 joules. That it itself not a firearm, but does not include such device that is designed and intended to exactly resemble with near precision an antique firearm. There you go, boys. They closed
That's
the
it.
loop. They closed the loop right there.
They removed basically what they're doing in short is they removed the FPS and the joule measurement from the airsoft gun to the real gun.
Yeah.
So now if it looks like a real gun that shoots more than 500 FPS, so every real gun,
Every real gun, yeah.
then that airsoft gun is banned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, just to add, a little bit to it, they replace the Section 284 of the Act is amended by adding the following in subsection 3.1: certain firearms deemed to be prohibited devices. So in teal here, I've sort of just made it easy for everybody to read. We're gonna read through the teal in the next slide, but for purpose of section 99, 101, 103, 107, 11.03, a firearm is deemed to be a prohibited device if, here we go. If
Mm.
it is proved that the firearm is not designed or adapted to discharge a shot, bullet, or projectile at a muzzle velocity exceeding 152.4 meters per second or at a muzzle energy exceeding 5.7 joules. Okay, here's the good part. I put it in red. And the firearm is designed or intended to exactly resemble or to resemble with near precision a firearm other than an antique firearm that is designed or adapted to discharge a shot, bullet, or projectile at a muzzle velocity exceeding 1.52.4 meters per second and a muzzle energy exceeding 5.7 joules. Basically means in the teal portion, that means that your device is deemed prohibited, and now anything like traffic offenses, transfer without authorized authority, importing offenses, offenses relating to lost, destroyed, or defaced weapons, falsified statements regarding 105 and 106, and seizure or failure to produce authorization, meaning that you need a license to hold a prohibited device.
That good old loophole of, hey
But-
guys, it's prohibited, and you need a
But,
prohibited license, but we don't
we're-
give you prohibited license.
There's
Yeah.
no such thing as prohibited license devices.
Yeah. Yeah.
Apparently
yeah.
there is, by Bill Blair's opinion, and apparently the government gives it out.
Really?
Well, from what I've heard, basically when I was talking to people, what I was told was I can get one. I just have to apply for it, and then if I get it, it costs hundreds of thousands of dollars. But the only way I'd be able to do it is if I applied as like a media company and treated it the same way as they do for purchasing weapons for movie shoots. So I could, given hundreds of thousands of dollars, get a license like that. But then also, who would I play against in airsoft?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
okay, I can have an airsoft gun. Now what?
So that
sucks.
is the breakdown of current laws and proposed laws. So the current status is it's not law. C-21 is not law. We're making sure that it's not going to be law because we have people power here, and we're informing you guys. So not law right now. It is currently at first reading. So we're back at square one, first reading. And like I said, with the coalition, it's going to be a little bit of an uphill challenge when it comes to having it voted into the second reading. And then
That being
afterwards,
said, the NDP was kind of reserved in their initial support in it, so that's a little bit of hope.
so we got that hope there. All right, so let's talk about impact now. This is going to be an impact for all of us here because we all play airsoft. An impact for us media types because we talk about airsoft and advertise it, and as well as this is basically what we do on a Thursday night.
The show would be very boring without an airsoft field.
Yes.
Yes.
And big one for Dayton because you have your own YouTube channel as well as
Yeah, it's just my job.
products. Yeah,
you know?
it is your job essentially. So
Yeah.
if the bill comes into law, it would be devastating for airsoft businesses that are already in Canada. Retailers, individuals won't be allowed to import new airsoft guns. We will only be allowed to import airsoft guns that do not replicate real firearms. Gonna suck because there's not a lot of them. And all our current airsoft guns will become prohibited at this point. Even though they're saying that airsoft is not banned.
They keep saying that. They keep saying it with a straight face.
Yes.
Also, they say prohibited, and they say that you can keep them, but if you ever have like the police come over to your house and they see them, they can take them.
Yep.
If they feel like it. They could also just be like, "Oh, sick. Have a good
That is
time."
part of the criminal code.
Yeah.
All right.
Exactly.
So
Because they're prohibited, they can take them whenever they want.
yes.
Mhm.
So here we go. So what should you do? This is the big one. I know a lot of people are asking. First up is do not panic.
Yep. Don't worry, guys. Do not panic.
Why didn't you say that first?
Oh, well, okay. But
Hey,
seriously,
you know
guys,
what? Sell your gear.
No,
Sell
but-
your gear.
yeah,
if you
yeah.
have nice gear, sell your gear.
Yeah,
I will.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
we've
I will
gone
take
through this.
the gear.
We've gone through this before, right? Don't panic.
Yeah.
Our goal here is to make sure the public, the government, and its elected officials know that airsoft is a harmless sport and hobby. So we got to make sure that they know that, right? Talking to your politicians, talking to people, making sure that telling them that this is a harmless sport, right? Yes, they look real, and yes, it looks dangerous, but yeah, it's very harmless. I haven't heard anyone die from airsoft, honestly, and Yeah, our
No,
key.
but people have gotten hurt. But you know
Yes.
what? That's their own fault.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
So education is key here, showing them how diverse the community is. We're very diverse. How we all have different political backgrounds, and the health benefits from it, the mental health benefits from it as well, and how we're all just a bunch of big nerds larping in the woods, and is really not a threat to society. I mean, that's
Some of us are little nerds, but yes.
Yes.
And if you're 18 or below, best thing you can do is educate your parents
Talk to them.
and let
Yeah.
them know why airsoft is important to you and why it's important for them.
Yeah.
Just talk
Let
to
them know that all
Yeah.
of your allowance money went into this, and it's going to be a waste if it gets banned.
100%.
So-
Like,
Yeah.
dad,
Yeah.
this is a prohibited device
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, or even talk to your friends, who aren't into airsoft, but know that, you're into these kinds of things and that they're important to you. Because the most important thing is to reach out to people, let them know that something important to you is actually getting taken, like, completely
For no
without any
reason.
reason. And that we need everyone to kind of put a light on it.
Okay. All right. So, best thing you could do, educate others, share this video. It's gonna be good because they get all the information they need, especially that PowerPoint slide. It just breaks down everything and it makes sense, or it doesn't make sense what they're doing at that point, or they need to amend it. So, next up, contacting your local member of parliament. There is a lot of things to do when it comes to following legislative process. ASIC has done a wonderful job on how to write a letter to your local MP. First of
Mhm.
all, you want to find your local MP, so I will link this in the description down below, and as well as provide to our
Also,
audience
if
here.
you're under 18, writing a letter to your MP there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
If you guys want to send letters, you're still a constituent or a future voter. So
Yeah.
So here is the find members of parliament. You just put in your postal code, you put in a member name or constituency, or just like, let's say, my location or something like that. Then it'll pull up information on that. British Columbia is 42 constituents, and it'll just break down who is in that area, and you could contact them if they're in your area. A lot of them here. Oh, there's Jag. All right. Moving on. So, like I said, writing to your member of parliament. If you go to the next link here, which is basically saving airsoft, there is a link on how to write. And again, nothing has changed. So really, you could just reuse a template that we use here.
Mhm,
Yep.
mhm.
They talk about your attitude. This is critical, right? Put your emotions aside. This entire letter should be calm and rational and professional, right? You're trying to get to the bottom of this, and you're also trying to figure out, like what is their party line, why is it that they're doing this? And then hopefully they respond to you, and then things like your tone and intent. You have to introduce yourself, describe your interest in the issue. Then here's a bunch of stuff that ASIC has put down here. Prompt them for answers. What do you want? Ultimately, we want airsoft to be considered safe, and just like in the Netherlands, it is it's 100% legal, like written in the law.
Mhm.
So that's what we want to get to, but that's going to be a very, very uphill battle. This is where it all starts: is writing a letter to your MP. We need to figure out what's in their mind, and we can analyze it.
Mhm.
All right. So that
We
is
need
that.
we
And-
need to AKA DDoS their emails with our emails. Let
Yes.
them know that we
Let's not
want
do
an
that.
answer.
Let's not do that, guys. Just be calm. Write your email. Let them know your intent. Let them know that
Let's
this
fill up their
matters.
mailbox.
This matters a lot to you, and yeah, that's why you're writing them. It gives an organization like ASIC a chance to see how we can counter arguments and talk points that they respond to. Yeah, if you get a response, let us know. Myself, because I'm dealing with ASIC, or
Mhm.
ASIC themselves. You go to their Discord. You go to their there's an email address that you can go to on their website, and you could tell them, this is the response I got from this MP or something like that. Or yeah, it's crucial that we get the opposition, or not the opposition, the parties that are actually pushing this bill. So Liberal and as well as NDP. crucial to get those parties because we know the other party, conservative, is already much against it.
Yeah. Also, if you live in a place with like an independent or Green Party, something like that, reach out to them. A vote's a vote. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter if they're against it or if they said they're for it. Just make
Mhm.
sure everybody knows about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that is
annoying.
Yeah. Well, don't
Be
be
annoying,
annoying.
yeah.
Don't
Well,
be
I mean,
annoying.
it's gonna be
Be
annoying.
consistent.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
sorry, wrong
Consistent.
word. Wrong word.
Yeah. It's going.
It's
It's
more
going to
adult.
be annoying, but
All right.
exactly what Dayton said. Consistency is key, guys.
Yeah. So this is basically what to do at this point. There's going to be a petition that is going to be coming up from ASIC. Change.org is not a official petition, but it is a public petition that gets noticed. If you want to sign that, go ahead, but it has no sort of footing in our legislative sort of process. The
Mhm.
proper ones is the actual petition from our common, from the government, basically. That is going to be coming soon, so stay tuned with that. Make sure you tune into ASIC, or Airsoft in Canada, if I haven't
Mhm.
mentioned that. And also, if you're interested in listening in, June 5th, 6 p.m. Pacific time, is in the ASIC Facebook, there is a national update that they will be hosting in a Zoom call. Go ahead and listen to that and see what their strategy is, and as well as what they're doing in terms of what has happened. They're going to do the same thing that we did here. I also provided them my slides, and they loved it. And yeah, they're going to do the same thing. They're going to explain how, what Bill C-21 is. They're going to explain what they're doing, and they're going to explain what their future processes are, with the petition coming up as well.
Mhm.
You also have groups like BCAMF, British Columbia Airsoft Federation, British Columbia Airsoft Marksmanship Federation. They're joining the fight. You can sign up with them. And yeah, they are an official non-profit organization that is running in BC as well. So you can register with them. Registering to a nonprofit or a federation is also good to show numbers in the community, right? A petition only shows the national number, but if we show that each province has numbers, and then we can show that to the government, that also makes it so that we're serious about this fight. Nonprofit is something that has to be registered to the government and a force to be reckoned with. At that point, they have to listen to it. Other than that, that is basically it for the breakdown of Bill C-21. And now we're going to go into discussion mode at this point.
Here we go.
And yeah, this is when our own personal opinions come in. And yeah, if you guys have any questions, please put it in the live text box and we will answer them for you. Other than that, how I feel or how I'm taking it right now, it was a shocker. It wasn't really a shocker when it came out because we knew that it was going to come back based on the fact that the coalition with NDP and as well as Liberal came in. We knew right away that, oh no, they're going to introduce something once they've had their talks back in April 15th. And then after that, we knew we were just waiting. It was like a ticking time bomb. We were waiting for it. Well, it didn't really catch us off guard, but yeah, when we heard of the paper notice coming in on May 27th, we knew right away. It's like, oh no, like I hope they don't include us. We had our fingers crossed that they didn't include us, but Monday came along, and then my not inbox, but my DMs blew up telling me that like, hey, did you hear this? Hey, did you hear this? Hey, did you hear this? I'm like, I'm working right now. So that's what happened to me, and yeah, I've been working with ASIC to help them communicate with BC airsoft communities, and yeah, I've been just going back and forth with them on that, and yeah, and then now we have the show explaining to you what's going on. How did you guys feel about this?
I think it's freaking stupid.
Extremely dumb. The fact that they snuck it back into with more regulations, okay? Because I'm not gonna lie, okay? I understand that we're living in a pretty polarized world. We've got America down south, and it really sucks their situation. And like, yeah, like it sucks because it keeps happening. It's not like it stops. There was like 3 more like after Texas, right? Not as big, not as media, spectacle
You
or
can
whatever.
only cover so many,
right? Only sensationalize so many, right? And
Yeah.
God, that pesky AR-15, man.
My argument to that is, or my defense to that is, this is Canada, not the US.
Yeah, well, exactly. So that we have gun laws in place that don't
We have
allow for
really
certain
strict
things
gun
like,
laws.
we have some of the best gun laws in the world. Like, and you know, one of the actual things I was actually discussing with TAC today too, and just Poi, we were talking about this earlier and stuff. I actually just want to ask how many MPs actually have their gun license,
Yeah, I wonder.
right?
Mm.
Like, I'm sure every Alberta MP's probably got it, or at least knows about firearms, let alone has it, you know?
Yeah.
But like,
You know what? That's a good question. Next time I call
I just want to ask
Jonathan
Trudeau.
Wilkinson, I'll
Like,
ask
it's all
him.
like, you keep calling it an assault rifle, and these people say fully semi-automatic. It's like, I'm gonna throw my freaking head out the window.
Well, it's like, do
My
you want to look
favorite-
serious to your constituents or not, right?
my
Because
God,
like
yeah.
to like a portion of them, you sound like a babbling idiot because you can't actually point out the proper details on something and be clear, and that's why there's such a divide, right? And if that's actually their plan to create a divide like that, well, it's working because you're pissing people off by being stupid.
Yeah. I like the term weapon of war. That's my favorite.
Oh,
That
yeah.
Canada has
Killing
weapons
machine.
of war.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
we have 5-round magazines. We can barely own anything better than an SKS. What do you mean weapons of war?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like the AR-15 was like the pinnacle of nah, that's not true.
No,
There's some MP5s
like
out there.
Canada already has really strict gun laws, and honestly, like, what are they stopping the import of pistols and stuff like that? It's
Well,
already
that's stupid.
It's
It's
already freaking
absolutely
impossible to
retarded.
get a pistol in Canada.
If you
Yeah.
need you have to have you have an RPAL, and then like the
And
transportation
if you do that, you're not
requirements
going to want to lose it.
Yeah, like, oh my
Well,
God.
you know,
man.
and then that's why it's a fair point that Mac brings up about, you know, some asking that question. And it's not like to be like rude or insulting in any way, but it's all like, do you actually know the process and how
gun
hard
laws.
it actually is, or how annoying it is to
They
be
say
able
for
like,
background
hey,
checks.
I
It's
want
like, dude, you need a background check
Yeah,
just to
it's like,
freaking
You
do
know,
anything.
we have a gun registry in Canada. I would be interested to find out how much of the gun violence in Canada is caused by registered guns versus unregistered guns.
Well, that's the statistic they always want to ignore, right?
Because if you're
Exactly.
putting a law onto people who own guns and get guns legally, then it's not going to change anything where the gun violence is. And to clarify, contrary to what's going on in the US, that's a lot of that's happening with legally purchased firearms. So don't get me wrong. I'm not like, I realize people do freaking crazy shit.
100%. And there are domestic disputes that, you know, and so this is the one thing too that I found out too, right?
I feel like there's so many more layers though to the American sort of thing, because it's all like, because you have to remember
we shouldn't focus on that anyway.
Yeah,
exactly. We have to ignore it because it sucks. It's sensationalization of the current affairs.
But it's a different issue. It's
not 100%. It's separate. Yeah.
And to frame it back to
I'm not
Canada,
gonna lie,
we just have to
America's
remember
got to deal with their own problem, because I mean, apparently that kid got his gun legally. Like, you
Well,
know, like I'm just saying.
Well, exactly. And just to bring it back to Canada here, right? And to frame it, because they always try to use America as an example, is that like, hey, they're sort of framing this in the fashion of like, hey, it hasn't happened here yet, so we got to jump on it. It's like, hold on.
Preemptive,
and then you use the words democracy, and it's all like, okay, cool. So I'm all about democracy. Let's have a consultation. Wait, you didn't consult any of us? Like, none of us?
Well, that is one of the things that made me the most unhappy about Bill C-21 too, is that nothing changed in a good way. Like, nothing we did had any effect.
We gave them the gray area, and they're all like, oh, that's how you guys exist.
Yeah.
Oh, nip it in the butt. Like,
it's our fault. It's our fault. We educated them. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we should have just rolled over and took it. Like,
yeah, like it's disappointing that they didn't change anything. And that's one thing that's really shitty about this, is like what we did had no effect. But that's also really eye-opening, because that means that we know that what we were doing isn't enough. Like, we got to do more. So like, I put a lot of time into planning what I'm going to do.
I want to give the people and all of the community the benefit of the doubt.
Oh, no, I'm not
did a
saying
lot, actually. No, I'm just saying all of us collectively, right?
Yeah,
like,
we all
some
did
people
a shit
didn't even
ton.
know what the hell airsoft was, let alone paintball. And because paintball is included in this, right? I want people not to forget, like, that thing says any projectile. Yep. So that means like, and it sounds stupid, but technically that can involve Nerf.
Yeah, didn't it say or? So what shoots above 5.7 joules again? Oh, right.
Actually,
paintball guns, because they shoot at 13 joules.
Where's the link to that? Yeah, there was one slide.
Like, everyone was sharing their Nerf loadouts, and I was like, I'm pretty sure this is included in there too.
Which one are you looking for,
Oh.
Dayton?
The presentation.
Yep.
Is it up there? There was just one slide on it that I wanted to.
Are you talking about section
Sorry.
2?
Oh, but guys, before I lose my train of thought on this, is that
Yep.
the thing that absolutely drills my brain every time I see it on the news is when they talk and they conflate the number of gun crimes and stuff like that are going on. So they'll talk about like downtown and like super mega urban cities like Vancouver or Toronto with like tons of gang activity. Surrey, like fuck, man, there's a chick got stabbed right down
Again,
the road from me
again,
today
today.
at work. Like it was
Yeah.
just like what, like like so basically it's just like
Bad knives, then.
what,
Yeah, yeah.
Oh God, did you see the downtown video of the guy who
Yeah,
got
yeah, the other-
seven
the-
people?
Yeah.
Stop the madness.
Register
I bet
landscape
you
tools.
if it was an airsoft gun, they would have sensationalized that even more.
Oh, my
100%.
God,
100%.
And it sucks because you know what? Like every few months or something like that, we have some freaking stupid little 10-year-old or 12-year-old or 13-year-old or whatever the fuck they are. And they keep taking their gun in their backpack to their school or some shit. And they share it to their friend. They want to show it off or they want to threaten the bully or threaten some kid. Or it's like, you
That just
fucking
ruins it for
idiot,
everybody.
man. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, like it just, it absolutely just like.
Or Dayton, you were looking for.
Yeah, there's just a point I wanted to make about one of the slides, but I can't find what I was.
Let me link it to you here.
No, I have it. I just can't
You have
find the part that I was going to talk about.
Okay.
It might have been a different thing that I was looking at.
So, what are some? I guess this is more of theorizing, but what are some amendments that you think that we should just put in there? Because I did mention that putting us into a low velocity category would be good idea to do, because in Denmark it would they have them separate in their firearms law. Airsoft is its own thing. Or not Denmark, Netherlands. Sorry, Netherlands.
Well, could they not just change that, because like and just be making it legal? Because like it's almost like it feels like they found out about us and they can't fathom or understand that people would want to shoot each other with these things and not hurt each other.
Well, it's a video game.
What it feels.
It's basically that's it. That's just it. It's everyone that wanted to take Call of Duty out and put it outside.
To play Call of Duty and not get fat.
Exactly.
Yeah,
100%. 100%. Yeah.
A lot of you guys are failing at that. I'm not gonna freaking stay silent.
We're working on it.
Yeah, like Dayton, you actually have to put on weight the last time.
Yeah, I gotta play some more video.
Right.
I gotta
Okay,
play
so
some more regular Call of
other
Duty.
end of the spectrum on that one.
No, I think the only way that we get airsoft to continue and be safe for the future is to get an amendment that excludes 6mm projectile firing weapons that fire between 366 to 500 FPS.
We need to scratch that. Scratch the 366. Explain that to them too, right? Like,
I would say
their replica law is so archaic.
Yeah, I would actually say that an upper limit is fine. Saying like above
500. Okay,
FPS,
it's a legal gun after that, right? Yeah.
But if they just put that as a protection, it's fine. But it's very clear that all they want to do is remove firearm stimuli from
gun culture,
children,
right?
Yeah. But then that's so, to even comprehend that is ridiculous. To remove that the stimuli of firearms from someone growing up and making life decisions. Number one, you're excluding them from ever considering to become a police officer or join the military.
Yep.
Number two, you're going to make it so that when they do encounter them, they haven't the first idea of what to do around them.
Yeah.
And if you have spent any time around firearms, the scariest thing about guns is someone who doesn't know how to use a gun.
It's the scariest person, man.
They're taking away the only safe alternative and safe, realistic alternative to firearm ownership. Like that is effectively what they're doing. They're looking for a way to reduce the amount of guns that people in Canada own. Okay, promote and legalize airsoft so that people can get rid of their real firearms and buy the exact same one in airsoft. But now when your kid looks down the barrel of it and wonders what the trigger does, he doesn't end up, on the wall or whatever.
Like I wouldn't even be mad if it was Japan.
So I have a feeling that this is my opinion again. The government is trying to snuff out that culture
Well,
right?
that's what it is. It's
That's
the
what it is.
liberals want
It
gun culture.
extends from
No,
gun
it's
culture. It
just
extends from video
people-
games. It extends from like movies afterwards.
Yeah.
How far does it go?
I don't like throwing around that canceling gun culture because I think people need to stop.
No, because
likening
that okay.
Airsoft so much to the
okay.
to the guns and stuff.
No, but
like,
okay, but how can you like say it's separate, right? Because basically what they have been doing in their agenda, if you remember their election agenda for 7 years now, right?
Mhm.
Has been to try and steer that away. And if you listen to every single bit of wording that's come out for their press conferences,
it's to
they
vilify
always
guns.
want to come back to the fact that there is no room for this in Canadian society, as if they are the ones to dictate that. Like, right? They always want to try and like perpetuate this thing that they're doing things for the good of Canada, for the good of all Canadians and everything. And it's like, dude, if anything, this freaking pandemic has just highlighted the fact that these guys are so out of touch, so polarizing, that they want to call everyone and anyone that disagrees with them a racist, a bigot, a like uneducated idiot, you know, like anti-vax. Like, it doesn't matter, you know, like the amount of human rights and crazy charter cases that we're going to have for the next 5 to 10 years is just astronomical to me. Like,
well, you know? and it also shocks me that, you know, how they still have faith in him as a leader, considering
4
the fact
scandals in 7 years and the guy's still in power.
Yeah, he's had the scandals, and then they've had the investigations, and it's come out that, you know, it's happened, and it's all like, okay,
and it's real.
And it's like we're still letting it all slide by and everything.
Donald Trump, okay, as much as we all hated the fucking dude, all right, did like what the fuck did he do with like the Russia bullshit and then all that shit, and then they were all like, fuck it, impeach him. Fucking impeach him. We're gonna fucking impeach this guy like over fucking nothing. And this guy has 4 committed freaking scandals, and we're all like, nah, you know what? He's pretty. He's got nice hair.
Hey, he legalized drugs for us.
Oh, yeah. Thank God he legalized the pot. Look, Stephen Harper would have never legalized it, but at least he was all like, yeah, I'm up for decriminalizing it. Like, Harper, you fucking idiot, man. He like, I want you guys to know too, I was not a fan of him either. Okay, everyone that's all like, oh, we had money when he was in, it's like, dude, you don't understand how many social programs weren't there, and how much how many school how underfunded everything was, how shitty schools were. Like, it was ridiculous. And then I'm not gonna lie, having someone come in here and spending with daddy's credit card is not good either. Like, somebody needs to fucking take the credit card away.
Somewhere in the middle. Somewhere in the middle of the two.
You guys see
like,
that
you need to be like,
in the Zoom chat. So there's no reason anyone in Canada should need guns in their everyday lives. Unfortunately, he does.
Of course, he's got his Secret Service shit and stuff like that. The guards that are going to protect him, sure.
Well, but that's because everybody has airsoft guns.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
We need to get them off the streets, so he doesn't need people with real guns.
Exactly.
I still don't.
That baffles me.
I cannot wrap my head around the idea that I can own a real freaking Kar 98.
That's what I'm saying. Like, Dave, do you want to go out and
no, 100%,
yeah.
Shoot.
Like,
real guns.
Remember when the first bill came out, like with the first version of it, when it first came out last year and stuff like that, and we were like, oh wait, your replica, your airsoft one's banned now. Okay, it's prohibited, but you can go. Okay, all right then. Yeah, all right.
I don't understand. There's like a couple things that are just like so dumb. I'm dumbfounded thinking about it. Like, why they jumped from it being not even in the books to immediately like
laser
erase them all.
Yeah. Just coming back, we're trying to get the economy going. Hey, we're gonna shut this entire $100+ million industry down.
Yeah, well, see, this is
nerds.
This is what I've been thinking for my C-21 video. The next one is the last time I did it, I called Jonathan Wilkinson 100 times, and like I called him every week for.
I think I remember. And then he finally like got back to you. Yeah.
And I never got past his
secretary
or whatever.
Public servant.
So, but to be fair, that was when Corona was freaking really going at it, and I couldn't like go to his office and talk to him or anything like that.
Right.
So now that I can, I just sort of backtrack a touch. I think that the biggest issue is that none of these people in government know about airsoft, and all they can think about is it looks like a gun.
Yeah.
So it's education. It's they might know the buzzwords of airsoft, and they've been given their script of things to point on because they don't know it per se themselves, right? So we need to make it so that people know what airsoft is and let them understand what it's going to be. So now that coronavirus has gotten a little less crazy, I'm going to apply for a permit to do get signatures, like a petition sort of thing. And I'm going to set it up outside his office. That way, when I go in to try and talk to him in person, when they say, "Oh, he's too busy," I can just wait outside and start raising awareness of what airsoft is and what they're going to ban.
Oh
right
my
outside
dude,
of
yo.
his office.
Okay, yo, you need we could do this. We
Yeah, you need some hype guys.
Yeah.
You need some hype guys. We're in.
Yeah, we need some hype guys. But I'm thinking one of these weekends we set up out front of his office, or it would have to be a weekday.
Yeah.
But in the afternoon, set up outside of his office, try and get a meeting with him. If he doesn't give us a meeting for that day, then set up right out front of his
100%. I am prepared for people tell me to get a job, and I will tell you I took the day off for this.
Is he part of the cabinet? Wilkinson? Like
Jonathan Wilkinson?
Does he have a title under his ministry?
He was just reelected. I think before this most recent election, he was the environmental minister.
We need to hit him with an environmental
thing. We should just make compost BBs and fertilize the forests everywhere in Canada by playing. That would be the best way.
Since McIntyre moved to Coquitlam, it's Ron McKinnon, and I've never been able to reach him through my writing.
Yeah,
my phone call.
Where's his office? Is it close?
It's close by my area.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I was thinking, actually, I wonder if Jonathan Wilkinson has an Instagram. Maybe I'll
he definitely does. They all do. They all have to have social media handles. Professional.
Do I have more followers than him?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, 100%.
100%. The MPs have they're literally boomers, dude, and they have maybe 200, 300.
You could totally flex on him on that. He's going to be like, oh, a blue check mark person.
They're most tech savvy constituents. So the only one. I think Mark Dalton got 20 from all of us that followed him.
Hey, big support from him though for coming down at the field.
Well, yeah, and same with the South Surrey MP. She actually was like.
He's only got 8,000 followers. I'm gonna follow him and comment on every one of his posts.
Show him how the world is.
Damn, this looks fun. You know what else is fun? Airsoft.
Airsoft is extremely fun.
You look really cute in this picture. You know where I look cute? At Airsoft.
In my Airsoft gear.
Yo, you should put on some gear.
Wow, look at this. He's outside in a forest by trees, just like I am when I play Airsoft. I'm gonna comment on every one of his posts.
Oh my god!
So, guys, please,
please don't. Okay,
don't
anyone else.
Don't.
I don't know the legal implications of because it wouldn't be. You wouldn't be. Yeah, I gotta research this before I send anyone anywhere. But I don't think leaving comments. I don't think leaving comments on an Instagram post is against any. I mean, it's public domain. People are just leaving comments.
Yes and no, because it can get
Instagram.
No, because of the amount of people you have and the amount of clout you got, dude. It can turn into harassment.
What would he argue? His engagement is too high?
Yes. He's being hate rated by an airsofter.
Yeah.
No, as long as the comments and stuff are not negative.
No, it's gonna turn. It's gonna turn. He's gonna be like, they are harassing me.
But just going back to the topic here, it's just
it's C-21.
I'm not gonna lie to you guys. When it came out, I listened to that thing because it was an hour and a half, 2 hour long.
It's about 40 minutes. Yeah.
Okay, well, it doesn't matter. I had it playing on repeat. I listened to it 3 times. I listened to everything, even the French part. But I'm still there listening to it, and it sunk in pretty hard. Actually, it made me do a lot of thinking. A lot of the words they were using, a lot of the rhetoric that they had, just kind of really kicked you in the butt, because it's a lot of non-conversational sort of statements. Anytime you try to have a question towards them, or if you ever watched or listened to the questioning period where people were literally talking to them and talking about the stats about, hey guys, guns are being smuggled, that's where most of it is coming from, and then they are completely slow monotone looking at the camera, and it's all guns get into Canada in 3 ways.
And it's ways. And it's
straw
purchases.
And it's bruh. Like really, you're really trying to play at people's heartstrings like that, and it's all like, and you're pretty much giving out blatant lies. And one of the things that I really hate is the real strategic way that they go about like sort of banning things step by step, or sort of like restricting things or prohibiting things, right? To the point where it's all like they become a gun statistic, right? Like how you were talking about earlier, Dayton, about how you were curious about how many of those gun incidences are actually from registered legal guns, while the rest of them are, let's say, right, like last couple months, right? We've had a lot of guys in the Discord have things seized at CBSA, right? So that turns into a gun statistic, right? That is not a firearm. That is not, you know, you're going to shoot a projectile that is lethal in any way, but it is considered a gun in the eyes of the law for stats. And they take that and then it conflates it and adds it to their whole thing. And when they come around doing their whole election spiel and everything like that, they sit there and talk about how many guns that they stopped at the border, when it's all like,
well, and not just at the border, right, Tack? Hey, so how many times has Vancouver had an airsoft gun incident going around right now in the past 2 years and COVID going around? Oh, wow. Let's throw those into the gun statistics, because you got some idiot gotten flashbang downtown on West 4th. And then you got another idiot that had a Glock, and VPD decided to show it off and be like, this is a Glock. If this is an airsoft Glock, this is dangerous. Like, thank you. We know.
Okay, like roll it back a bit, because if you take an airsoft gun out in public and then the police shows up, that's right for them to do.
They're gonna treat
there is
firearm.
no gray area. It is considered a firearm, right?
Yeah.
They shoot you, that's your own fault.
Don't be stupid.
Well, it's almost like people want to protect everyone from stupid decisions, when it's like, you know, there are rules and there are going to be consequences.
It's
like,
if you're never underestimate the stupidity of people. You can never make a law to stop people from doing stupid things. If somebody takes an airsoft gun out into public, that's their own stupidity.
Right.
If you like,
And
so
if you try and rob somebody with a Tokyo Marui Glock, me in particular, and I notice that TM symbol on there, I'm gonna whoop your fucking ass. Dude.
But that's the thing, is like if somebody uses an airsoft gun to rob a store, let's say, like dissect that a little bit. Number one, treat it like a real firearm.
100%.
They're pretending it's a real firearm to do something illegal. Treat it like a real firearm. Number two, could you have banned the airsoft gun so the guy couldn't get it and do it? Well, yeah, you could ban the airsoft gun, but like,
did that stop him from doing
what's the alternative? He uses a real gun? Like, at least if an airsoft gun is getting used, no one's going to get killed. Even if a guy uses a knife, you're in danger of getting killed.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, so now you're going to remove even more non-lethal things from the street, not saying that, oh yeah, guys using freaking airsoft guns, that's a good alternative to guns, guys. Next time you go rob a business, use an airsoft gun. Be polite.
I'm thinking of the store owner, guys. Come on, the thoughtful criminal.
But do you not see how that's stupid? Like, they're banning something that will have no effect.
Well, and then so to double down on what their OIC did too, where they're talking about, they're like, and his sense, oh god, it pissed me off when he was, we're capping the market on handguns, and they're like, the number of handgun violence in downtown Toronto with the gangs that smuggle them over the border at Niagara. Like, are you freaking kidding me?
Like,
and you're
whatever. Ban the pistols. Who cares? Nobody owns a pistol anyways, because you can't.
Okay, well, no, see, but that's the thing. No, there are tons of people who own pistols, and I will advocate for them, because dude,
fair enough.
Like, the people with our pals and the trouble they have to go through to have them, that's and then true. the shit they have to go to keep them
already.
Right.
And you can only use them at one place.
Your range. You have to freaking call the damn people and be like, hey, I'm gonna go to my range. Cool, I'll let you know when I'm leaving. Like, you can't even go to a goddamn Tim Hortons, man. You gotta go to the range.
Sorry, to clarify, what I meant was it impacts very few people.
100%. That's what I'm saying. It's only the people that are telling you that they have a pistol are affected by this. That's why I literally was laughing at all the memes where it was like Trudeau's announcement and the gangsters just going like, hell yeah, we don't give a shit, never have.
Well, and also to sort of highlight on the fact that, like, when things do get put into law, right, and things don't happen, like, for example, right, like a lot of the things that like they talk about young adults, right? They always talk about young kids and stuff like that getting their hands on these things. And I know recently, you know, for us in BC, that we had Bill 4 pass and everything like that, and it has been effective to a certain degree for stores that do follow those rules and everything like that. But then you run into some of these other stores and stuff like that who are blatantly selling to children
Camouflage.
who are then going to go out on the street and then become another statistic, which then makes us look bad. And it's like, why aren't they doing anything about those guys? Those guys are blatantly making us look bad, and they're also breaking the law. It's just like, it baffles my mind on what they want to pick and choose and when they want to pick and choose to do it, right? It's like, you know what? Let's wait till people get shot and die before we'll announce and do something like
Well,
this. It's
yeah,
like,
exactly.
why couldn't they have announced this a month ago? Why couldn't they have announced this,
No,
when-
they had this table. They were ready to go.
Yeah, exactly.
They just wanted to
So-
capitalize on the fact that they're like, yo, look, America is a freaking hot pot right now. They're bound to have another one pretty soon.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it was a really, really gross one.
Yeah, exactly. And then I don't want to go like super, super far conspiracy theory, but it's all like when we were listening to the radio this morning heading into work, and we were listening to the Vancouver mayor just talking about how they want to make the cities feel safer, because they were talking about the knife incident that happened yesterday with that guy with the two machetes, right? And how
He attacked 7 people.
he felt so sorry that this happened during peak rush hour, and how it must have affected and traumatized a lot of people, and how they try really hard to make their places feel safe. It's just like, what are you doing? Having armed people walking the streets every day?
I think that's what we need. I think we need to have armed guards walking around. Hey guys, they're here for your safety, so they can respond quicker.
Yeah, well, so like what I'm getting at here is just like the words and the way they were talking.
Jinro, man.
The words and the way they were talking, right? It's just like it makes it sound like, hey guys, we're gonna have the cities have walls, right? We're gonna check everything and ban
we're gonna
everything
have drones going around.
We're gonna check your bags before you enter the public.
100%.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean, right? And I don't mean to be all super like far conspiracy style kind of thing, but it's just like the way they talk, right? It really sounds kind of like, hey guys, it doesn't sit right with me with the way they say. Like, every person has a right to feel safe in the neighborhood that they live in, and
100%.
everyone has a right to that. But at the same time, like, whose rights are you going to trample so that other people can feel safe? You know what I mean? Like, we already have laws, like we've talked about, to deal with these kinds of things. To keep adding more laws, and then on top of that, the red flag laws that they want to add in, right? Like, oh man, it's
okay. See, so this is where I'm gonna get into a lot of fights with gun people, though, right? Because I'm not gonna lie, like, some of those laws could be like worked in and like kind of make sense to me, right? Like, you know what? Yeah, people with prior history and some kind of like, domestic dispute probably shouldn't have their firearms, right? But does that mean
reviewed a lot? Like
exactly, like it happens already
quite often.
Yeah. Well,
and criminal background check every day. So.
Yeah. Well, I'm just thinking, like, what happens if they, that passes too, right? And they complain, and they have that, added in with airsoft in that sense. So let's say you have like a fight with your family member or whatever it is, right? And then they find out that you have airsoft guns. Oh, they're gonna take all your airsoft guns because you might use them against someone. It's just like,
Tack, you are one bad day away from drawing your airsoft Glock on somebody. Okay, I want you to know that.
Out, man.
That Instagram conversation with that guy really killed me.
Dude, it killed me too.
Well, just because the other side's argument and the other side's fight is all about, why do you even exist? Why do you even give a crap about this stuff? And it's all like, what does it matter? I'm not hurting anybody. I'm not hurting you. Deal with the bloody criminals. It's just like, oh, it's so.
Yeah, well, and that's the main thing, right? Because like, sorry, RC, you were writing in there too. Yeah, like prior histories and stuff like that. Yeah, if you've already been convicted of a crime, damn right, you're not getting a gun license, right? It's not happening. But like, obviously, a lot of this comes down to a lot more emphasis on mental health and making the resources available and more abundant and stuff like that. And I keep seeing a lot of like kind of like memes pointing at each other on both sides of it, right? Because they want to talk about how you need to grow up in like a loving home and environment, and you won't need this kind of stuff, and you won't do this kind of things. And then they're also talking about how it's like, just don't be a fucking pussy. And I agree with both fucking sides, right? Because I grew up in the 90s like we did. And most of us 90s kids and stuff like that in early 2000s, like we got the tail end of our parents in the 80s and 70s. That, it was a different fucking time back then. And with the rise of social media and how it's the ease of telling everybody how you feel, and then the feeling of not being alone online because I can say this and 1,000 other people agree with me. And you know what? When there's 1,000 people with me, my voice isn't so much alone anymore. And guess what? They might be on the other side of the continent, but you know, the loudest minority is what wins. And that's what I want to like emphasize on education and sharing this with you guys, friends, families, and just, you know, like people around your life. Like, you don't want to have arguments, but you want to create dialogue. You want to be able to talk about these things, because I know for a fact there's tons of things in the gun industry, in gun culture, and just in Canadian society that we are all not going to agree on and disagree on and stuff like that. But we need, and to quote our good old friend Justin there, that's the point of a democracy, is to be able to freaking talk about these sorts of things and share these ideals. And you know, it sucks because nowadays, with the last like shift in paradigm from the last 10 years of being able to talk about these things, because you know what, the ugly, black, dark, horrible subjects, you need to be able to talk about them, because you know what, if you don't and you bubble wrap yourself, all of a sudden that thing hits you and you don't know how to respond.
Almost like China, where it's like they're censoring an entire generation of not thinking about that one event or any events.
Well, exactly.
Tiananmen Square, that's just a holiday.
Oh no, now we're banned from China.
Banned from China.
Thanks, man.
God damn it.
It's okay, the flag gave it away anyway.
Yeah.
I was like, are you really gonna say that? Like, come on, man. Like,
so
they are not happy right now.
So let's talk about like how we could like amend this or fix this, because there's been a lot of talks on like the national network, like ASIC, for instance, or all other provinces that are dealing with C-21. Things like maybe put it in a licensing sort of deal instead of having us in a gray area, right? Doing things like declaration of good conducts, you know, before, you know, just like in Australia, before they send out their gel blasters, right? The store is, you know, it's already happening in BC, like, but they just, you know, it's not really happening as much, where they have a piece of paper in front of you, in front of that purchased airsoft gun or gel blaster in Australia, and it says something along the lines of, you know, you purchased this model, you know, and you promised that in good faith that you're gonna make it, you know, like you're gonna practice safe operations, you know, you're gonna keep it inside, you're aware of local, provincial laws, federal laws, all that fun jazz, you know, and you know, just like safe practices, right? And then on top of that, you know, just like if you have your license, then you're allowed to buy it. I understand that that's going to suck for the children that's out there, but again, you have to involve an adult or a parent to purchase these airsoft guns anyway, right? This is where the government's targeting the youth at this point, which is basically saying, hey, you know, we don't want the youth to have it. Then cool, then the parents have to know that you purchased it. You know, how do you guys feel about that?
That's exactly what I was going to say. That's when I'm talking to Jonathan Wilkinson and stuff like that, that's what I'm sort of fighting for. I know everyone's got ideas of what they want the laws and stuff to be, but whenever I've talked to them, what I've been going for is effectively that, make it so that airsoft guns are prohibited for anyone under the age of 18 unless bought by a consenting adult. And then define an airsoft gun as a, you know, what would you call it? A marker or a replica, whatever you'd want.
Well, that's the thing. So that's where I would like put the laws in front of them and be all like, look how archaic this is.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Replica
it's hard
is
to define because there is no good definition for it. Like, it's not a replica and it's not a firearm.
Imitation firearm is probably a good.
Imitation firearm.
Well, and then
I think
also
it should be called airsoft gun. Like, there should be a definition for airsoft.
The Netherlands have it as airsoft gun. That's what they call it. That's what they classify.
Airsoft gun is anything that shoots a projectile of diameter of 6 millimeters, made from plastic or wax, whatever they had it as, at less than 500 feet per second, and then define it as a airsoft gun cannot be purchased, or I guess cannot be purchased by anyone under the age of 18. Other than a parent buying it for you.
Exactly, and let them know that we're fine with that, because what a lot of people don't even understand too is that in a lot of places around the world, they're not capped at 500 FPS, right? So like there are places out there that allow you to shoot up to 700, 800 FPS, and those players play responsibly in those areas, right? Obviously, you see some weird crap happening, but they have rules and fields that regulate them and allow them to have that, right? But in Canada, that's our rule. If we were to, stop at some point or at a hill, I am fine with 500 FPS being the legal max, because guess what? We're shooting guys at like 300 feet with small 6mm BBs, like you don't need to shoot any farther than that. Most of the time you guys don't feel it or call your hits anyway. So
Like,
let's be real.
did this stem from any event of like somebody robbing a place with an airsoft gun, or is
There's
this
been a few
purely
cases
Well, there's
like
been a
that.
few
culture
the
war,
last 2
like-
years, right?
And
Well,
I feel
so-
like those cases, those statistics again are inflated because they're mixing it in with actual firearms one. They're mixing our stuff with.
Well,
you know.
you got to remember, how many times have you seen in the last 2 years now guys that the police raided their house for some other particular reason and
They happen
found
to have it.
all this tat gear and stuff
Yeah.
like that, and it turns out he was a freaking Russian cosplayer.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot
I'm
of
talking about a
times-
specific one there. That was a specific guy, but yeah.
Well, like drug busts and stuff like that. If
Yeah.
they find airsoft guns, they will take it as a firearm.
Yes, they
and-
they classify it as a firearm.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
they
I
add
mean,
that to
is
the
it,
firearm. tally.
what's your is that good or bad? Because for me, they find a weapon to find a weapon. Great, that's it
yeah,
too.
but I'm just saying it changes statistics.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah,
that,
exactly.
yeah.
With the way they look
that's
at it.
hard. That's hard to split it up because they had it there.
Which is why it should be independently defined.
Yeah, it should be separated. But then they're going to get into the idea of, okay, well, how can I differentiate it? Why do they have to be similar? And you know what? If there were to be certain compromises, I could be fine, with the compromises like Germany has, where they have the engraving on
F
all
mark,
their, the F mark on all their airsoft guns. So you know that it's a German compliant airsoft gun, right? Of course, then they'll get into the argument of, oh, then real firearms guys are going to copy it. And then how are we going to know? And it's like, at that point, those people are already breaking laws and
And you're
are
going to
gonna
deal
get-
with it.
and are
Yeah.
going to get dealt with. It's just like you can't pretend that you can bubble wrap everything and bad things aren't going to happen. We don't live in Minority Report, and nor do I want to live in Minority Report.
Because you got to remember, at the end, Tom Cruise didn't make that decision. No, he did. He did kill that guy.
No, that was definitely murder. Actually,
Yeah, that was what I was gonna say. Sorry, guys. Yeah, actually, I'm just remembering the way that ended. That did not go the way that we do not want to live in that world. Okay, guys. Yeah. No, because that being said, too, is like seriously, just having government overreach into your life to that extent, and
Well,
it's not.
also like pick an argument. Is it
Yep.
okay you can't have a mark because then real firearms are going to look like airsoft guns, or is the problem airsoft guns looking like firearms? Like
Mhm.
So
Well, that's the
Pick
thing
one.
is the fact
Like-
that we're fantasizing over, because that's the thing that they don't like too, right? They flat out don't like airsoft.
no, just give us a real world statistic that backs up the decision to ban airsoft.
Yeah.
How
exactly.
what crime
Buddy, give
is
me a
going to
real
be
world
removed?
statistic in Canada that fucking gave you the reason to ban the AR-15. Okay, still waiting on that
bullets,
one.
Scary.
the issue is they included us in that gun bill anyway, so
I know.
that just makes it harder for us to combat it, because then we're like, oh, you guys are gun folks.
Pretty much, they're trying to make it so that
they just
we're
bundled
painted
us
by the
into it.
same brush.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that
One
we
Which
can't
stroke.
differentiate
kind
our
of-
voices.
I mean, that's why I've kind of been saying that we should be careful about not aligning yourself, but like making it known that airsoft is part of the gun community.
Mhm.
Like when we argue for airsoft, or when you guys are arguing for airsoft, when you're writing your letters like you're going to, don't try to purposefully lump in airsoft with firearms.
Mm.
Like
Unless
it's a
that is
very
that is personally what you want to do, because that
And that's
your
your
gun-
yeah,
that's
exactly.
your
Your prerogative, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
if your prerogative is saving airsoft, then yeah, it's probably a good thing to distance yourself from the real firearms community. Not that they're getting any less shafted, but if we want airsoft,
I mean,
to
yes
not
and
be
no, because I
banned-
see your point where we are fighting the same war but a different battle.
Yeah.
Right. Like I agree with it, and then yes,
only
sometimes
say
they
that
don't have the
because-
best characters in their community. I understand. Like I understand where the fear is, right? Because
I only say that because I feel like the airsoft banning law is going to be the first thing that's a compromise for the gun community to say, okay, whatever,
Mhm.
Yeah.
ban airsoft guns, but we can keep our real firearms. Okay, that's cool. Ban airsoft.
no,
go
but
ahead.
see that's the part where even gun owners themselves say this is stupid. You can't
yeah,
ban and prohibit a toy gun, and then all of a sudden the real guns are allowed to be like, you know, purchased with a license and stuff. Like, you're just making more guys gun owners. Like, his pistol freaking law made every gun shop in Canada sell out of pistols in like 24 hours. Like,
But that's the case for anything that's coming under a OIC or a ban, you know, in the United States or here. It's just everyone just panic buys, and I knew right away when I heard that on Friday. It's like, yep,
yeah,
pistol's
I know.
gonna be in.
Tell me what you bought.
Everybody's like, oh, I'm not telling you.
and that's when they start going for him, and it's like, it says you just
See?
bought a pistol,
And
it's
then
like,
they're
nope,
like, you see the
nope,
statistics?
lost
Look at this increase of gun purchases.
Yeah,
brand new
it's pretty
garden in the
fucked.
back, but
Mhm.
Yeah,
don't know
brand
what
new
happened-
guy.
don't know what
I just
happened
went
to
on
the
a
gun.
boating trip. What? Like,
Yeah,
Oh, remember that's not allowed, because if you falsify that,
what? I don't know what you're talking about. Every
they-
statement that I say is true.
that's okay. I guess
every one of them.
send
everyone.
send your
Everyone.
scuba
Everyone,
team
the
down there.
sky is green at times.
So here's a question that I had a really hard time answering all the time when I hear about this argument of, why does it need to look real?
Because it looks cool.
Yeah.
Because I use it as a safe alternative to gun ownership.
Yep. There you go. That's a good one too. I like that one.
I like guns. I like the way they look, and I think they're badass. But I live in the middle of the city, and I have no opportunity to go shooting often. And also, I have two younger sisters in the house that shouldn't be around firearms when they're growing up. So, airsoft.
Yeah. Michael provided me a nice answer here. It's hard. It's a tool to begin with, right?
Yeah.
And ergonomically, you know, man has made leaps from musket era to the most hated platform, the AR-15 today, right? Like, that's the evolution of it, right?
Yeah,
It just
yeah.
just gets, reversions get better and better, right? If they're telling us that we're supposed to use muskets instead of AR-15s, right? Are we gonna follow the same evolution as that, or
Why-
are we
why
supposed
don't
to
you
use
keep-
Nerf?
Why do we not still sell the 1992 Volkswagen Jetta?
Mhm.
Like, things
Why
get
don't we?
things get better. Things get redesigned. Things get
The 94.
perfected.
Yeah.
Then we moved to the 93, and life got better. That's what it is. Airsoft is a game that evolves. If you
Yes.
want to be good on the field, you need to be efficient. And how do you become efficient? By making the platform you're running efficient. Well, guess who's doing that regularly? The real gun industry. So when you design your airsoft guns to look like real guns, the efficiency of them is going to be good, or more so than a 92 Volkswagen Jetta.
Yeah, like I said, I just had a hard time trying to answer that, because I'm like, yeah, this is a hard one to escape. I've heard this argument from the first C-21, and then
I know.
hearing it now, it's like very difficult to
Well,
answer.
for me, it really comes down to the fact that, like, we have it in law, right? We have it legal ownership of stuff like this, right? You talk about democracy. These people aren't hurting anybody. It's always the criminals. So why are you criminalizing legal ownership, right? Why are
And
you
doing nothing over about criminals.
and
Right?
doing nothing?
Minimizing mandatory sentences for gun trafficking and other because it's like disproportionately minorities get targeted with that and stuff. And it's like, it's everything behind this stupid woke, like, kind of like facade, but because I don't want to like call it that, but it's like, it's dumb.
I hate the term woke.
Right?
The
Like,
term,
it's
friggin' I hate that.
right,
Yeah.
because like,
I
dude,
really
I
think that
already
we
know
need
that in the court of law, they're not judging you on the base color of your skin and shit. They're looking at you going, hey, idiot, why the hell did you do it? This is the photo of you doing it. This is why you're going to jail. And
Yeah.
I'm sorry that you turned out to be this person.
No, I think that's the argument we should use moving forward for the airsoft community, and I think it for two reasons. So first off, the reason of saying you're removing the only safe alternative to gun ownership is going to be really appealing to voters who oppose gun ownership.
Yeah.
Which is most of the people who support the people who are supporting Bill C-21. I think I said support the right amount of times that time. So number one, you're going to be appealing to those people. They're going to start questioning, well, yeah, if we want less guns, why are we removing the only safe alternative to gun ownership?
Exactly.
And then number two, it's simple to understand. It's simple to understand the hypocrisy of, I can own a real gun, but if I get the fake version of the gun so that I can play with it safely, I'm breaking the law. Now, the only opportunity I have to exercise my interest in firearms is to buy a real firearm. To put my life potentially in danger, via accident or some other person who doesn't know how to use one every time I use it. You're like, now every time somebody has to learn or wants to learn about gun safety, they're going to have to do it with a real firearm. Anytime. It's just so stupid on so many levels. If you break it down like that, it's just so stupid. It's dumb.
Well, and at the same time too, it's like just a higher form of tag. Let's be real, right? Like it's like, why do I like playing airsoft? Because I'm not gonna lie, I'm not that fit and I can't catch Mac. But you know what I can do is go around the corner and then tap Mac in the butt with a BB.
Yeah.
The equalizer.
He's not gonna call it, you know that, right?
I was like, yo, we're settling this weekend. This little fucking shithead, man.
It's okay. It's okay. We'll do it. Saturdays are for the boys.
Buddy, I'm gonna fucking put 3 in your chest. All right.
Another one from the Netherlands is you have to be registered to a federation, like a Netherlands Airsoft Federation group.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys agree with that statement? And that provides things like safety training, things like to get your airsoft gun, you have to go through this module of a safety course, like a 10-minute course thing. You could do it in a store, and something like that where the culture is not focused on the violence part, is focused on the gun safety, and like their culture's all like you could carry a gun there, no problem, right? Is that true, or is that one of the other Netherlands states, or don't scan it, northern?
Well, as long as it doesn't become some stupid bureaucracy to get that, and airsoft fields can independently,
yeah, like UCARA, like as long as it doesn't turn into
it's
a
like
UCARA.
a registration for players. Basically, they could look you up and be like, "Have you, has a field banned you for misconduct?" Right? Or has a store basically looked up your name and be like, "Oh, like it's like a gun registration." Would that something that would be viable for us? You think in the future?
There's no way that would be viable. It would still destroy the sport. If somebody has to go to an airsoft field to get a license before they can even get an airsoft gun themselves, it's going to destroy the sport. How have most people joined the sport? They buy an airsoft gun, they think it's freaking badass, and then they're like, okay, I'll go out to the airsoft field and I'll try and shoot somebody. Now let's see how it goes. Like, that's how most of the people get into the sport. And like, a registry, so now every Canadian Tire is going to have to be hooked up to some airsoft gun registry that's going to be horribly programmed, because there's going to be no funding whatsoever to make or sustain a registry. There's no way.
So to actually add on to that, and that's a good point that you bring up, because Canadian Tire sells airsoft guns, Walmart sells airsoft guns, the dollar store down the street sells a airsoft gun.
Or
to me, the way I see it is like, if we want to make airsoft, like its own thing and its own entity and its own category, we should make it to where only airsoft guns are sold at airsoft stores. If you're not an airsoft store, you don't have any right to be selling an airsoft gun, right? Just because of the fact that, like, hey, Crossman, your Walmart's brand or Canadian Tire's brand or whatever it is, right? Sure, you could have air rifles sold there, but if it's got a gearbox inside it that has got gears and shoots a pneumatic, piston, leave that for airsoft stores. That's the only thing I could think of. It's just like it'll have to come down to the distributor and the purchaser sort of way, because after that, right, it's already out to the masses. How can you control the masses? You can only control the next step.
The reason I asked federation or airsoft, society instead of a federal government is, if they leave it to the federal government, that means it's going to cost taxpayers money, and then there's a whole bunch of bureaucracy. Versus if it was done by a federation, right, or like a nonprofit, or whatever, that controlling body.
Well, no matter what, you're going to have bureaucracy.
Yeah. So what's the better route? The federal, provincial, or a group? Just like a UCARA group that.
Yeah, but look at even the mess that UCARA is in, right? Like, it's hard because what is
the mess that they are in right now?
Well, the whole where you had to like register to buy guns and everything like that. You also had to like register to like be at fields or whatever. But it's like there's no like national like because I get what you're saying. It's like, sure, it'd be real nice if you could go
Yeah,
like
this is-
look up a list of
what I'm
airsoft
what
players
I'm
and
looking
stuff
at is
that.
like a bargaining for the government, right? Like
Yeah.
if it's such a like uphill battle for us, which I know it is.
An Excel sheet that with the names so that the government has it. Like,
But that's where I think the best thing to do would be in the definition of airsoft gun in the law, in the like gun restrictions, firearm restrictions, say that it can't be purchased or it can't be owned or operated, whatever, by somebody under 18.
yeah,
Yeah.
100%. I agree with that.
Like
Yeah, that's 100%.
that covers the problem of, okay, now minors can't get it, and if they
Yeah.
do, it's with the consent of
An
a
adult.
parent
And
or
then
an
the
adult.
onus goes on to their parent, because if your
Yeah.
kid gets caught in the freaking street with a gun and the cops don't shoot him,
Yeah.
oh, somebody's gonna freaking get a freaking talking to. And
Yeah.
it's gonna be a lot more than talking. It's gonna be like, seriously, child neglect and child endangerment, you're going to jail.
and so it should be.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
if you buy an airsoft gun for your kid and then the kid goes out on the street with the airsoft gun and the police see him, that's freaking your fault, not the kid's fault.
No, I've
Like,
talked to a lot of parents that
it's-
honestly, like, once the kids head home from our field, the guns are not in their possession.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And-
Oh yeah.
and maybe
exactly, yeah.
and maybe they are, for the lucky few of you kids that do, okay, because I know that they're out there. Shut the hell up. We don't care.
Yeah.
you know what's
do not
really
take
funny?
it
You have no
to
rights.
the freaking school.
You know
Like-
what's really funny? I'll show you this.
God.
Literally, not even a week ago, my dad gave me this. It's a pellet gun that I got from my aunt when I was like 14 years old.
Yeah.
And my dad kept it because I wasn't old enough to have it.
Good.
I had Nerf guns, I had paintball guns, but I couldn't have this.
'Cause
Literally,
that
I
was a
had
steel
to.
pellet gun, right? Yeah.
Literally, I had to be 27 before I could have this.
27.
That's the
So-
point where he trusts you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So guess what? Being too young to own a fake firearm, yeah, you can be.
That's the
You
thing.
should be too young to make real life decisions like that and be trusted with a
And
firearm.
it can even come down to a maturity level too, right? Because
Yeah.
I've met people that are the same age as me that are complete freaking idiots. you
But
know?
that's why it
And-
should be up to the parents. Like it's
Yeah.
not like you're choosing a school curriculum. Like leaving that up to the parents, I think is freaking stupid. But
yeah.
if it's up to, hey, is my kid, old enough to understand that?
Are
if
they
he points to
mature
set
enough
Someone, yeah,
to be able to kind of handle that?
Yeah.
Because sometimes maturity can vary from range. Look at Zongers, look at Matt. It's hard to compare.
It's
but then once
very
you
hard
turn
to
18,
compare.
it's your own decision.
So you
Like,
guys are
just
sort of
it's so easy.
you guys are taking it from an angle of 18-year-olds and below. They shouldn't be allowed to.
Well, that's what the government is trying to capitalize on the requirement to ban these things.
Mhm.
It's the fact that kids are getting their hands on these guns,
Yeah.
and kids are taking them to school to
Yeah.
show off to their
So-
friends or threaten their bullies.
Remember,
And
That's
remember-
the justification.
remember, our provincial government did put in those requirements when it comes to like airsoft guns, and that also included the vehicles. Bill C-4 introduced
Mhm.
that where 18-year-olds needed a parent to purchase with them, right? And as well as a whole
What?
bunch of
No,
other
no,
restrictions.
Hey, whoa, slow back. Word salad. No, you had to be 18 plus to buy, and
Yes.
if you were below, a parent.
Yep.
Okay, sorry. You said 18 plus with a parent. It's like, no.
No, sorry.
It's all good.
Or
All good.
parent.
I am
We're
30.
talking a lot, man. I know. I
Yeah.
just want to make sure that
So
it's clear,
like I
right?
said, that bill got introduced.
Well, and funny enough, that wasn't a
In a-
law,
Yeah.
right? As everyone kind
And
of
now
thinks,
it's
because
only provincial law, right?
It is.
Yeah,
it's,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
for
it's
us,
only
provincial,
it's
yeah.
still only a
Only a
provincial
provincial.
law. Even in other provinces, I don't believe it's a law. It's
It's-
more along the lines of a freaking store policy, because
But-
that's what society freaking expected of them.
Yeah, so
And it's like,
it's already known that the entire Canada, like stores, some stores, they already follow this rule, of like even in
18
our
plus,
Discord,
yeah.
right? 18 plus, right? There's no exceptions whatsoever. Even if the kids try to PM me and be like, "Can you do this?" I'm like, "No." Like
Well,
law is law.
Well, exactly. And
Yeah.
if you're caught, you're banned. That's
So
it.
yeah, you guys are taking from that angle.
Straight to jail.
Now I'm trying to get to the adult part of it, which is basically like should like if they're looking for ways to like ban it, right? I'm trying to like make it so we have a bargaining sort of thing. You know, like think of like a fishing license, right?
Yeah, but you're bargaining. No, see, you're not gonna. I'm not gonna support you that though. Like, I'm not gonna. They're not gonna. I'm not gonna agree with them saying that. Okay, you can have airsoft guns if you get a license for it. It's like, dude, this is a fucking
it's not
toy.
a real gun.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a
it's
a
fucking
toy.
toy.
Yeah.
Like,
And to register a
right?
toy
If
is
I
kind of
actually
ridiculous.
have to go to the same extreme as fucking Australia and take my fucking Nerf gun and register that we really need to take a look at ourselves as a fucking society.
Like, do they?
And I'm
think
sorry
that
to
we're all
swear
that
and be
useless?
going off like that, because it's just like, it's absolutely, it's bonkers to think that an adult can look me straight in the face and tell me, like, you know what, that's pretty dangerous, man. I think you're gonna have to register that. Like, dude.
Yeah, you're not
So-
responsible enough
So
to exercise.
it's easier to do the good
this tool.
conduct than
Yeah. Well, and also people need to realize too, even though we had that bill get passed in BC and stuff like that, like things are
Federal
still
over-
yeah, exactly. There's federal over provincial, and it doesn't, it sucks, and that's just the way it is. And BC's trying to push forward on it, but at the same time, we still have stores like freaking Camouflage that are openly selling
flat
to
out.
children,
Hey,
right?
like,
And
hey,
all,
yeah.
and then shooting and letting people shoot in an open crowd and stuff like that. And then you have, the police nearby not doing anything about it, just being like, oh, it's fine.
Well,
It's
so-
like, and
no,
these are
so
the
does
same
that come
people that
from
are
apathy
causing.
or not knowing?
But that's what I mean. It's literally like their lack or their negligence or their lack of like care on a certain thing is letting bad things seed and get rooted, and it gets worse, right? Because then you have that kid who just bought a baton that you're not allowed to be buying batons, who then takes it to school, then threatens a kid at school, right? And then becomes another statistic, and then decides, oh, okay, I can't use a baton, then I'll take this. It just escalates from that. And it all comes down to poor decision making, people not paying attention and like actually following proper rules. And that's the other thing too, is because it's a bunch of stores getting together and agreeing on a store policy, right? Because it's most of major stores getting together and be like, yeah, hey, it's like a gun, 18 plus, right?
Mhm.
But then because it's not a law, you have stores like these other guys, like fucking Camouflage and fucking Wesley's and all these other things that are selling to kids under fucking 18 because it's not a law, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
how about let me sell this freaking butterfly knife that we all like? Oh, Richmond night market pisses me off. I love it. Don't get me wrong. Right? It's fun. Good times to go. Girlfriend
Hey,
likes
I've
it. The
confronted
food's
them.
awesome.
I confronted them there.
I know.
and they didn't even know about it.
Well, they don't
Basi-
care. They know. They
I
don't.
Yeah,
told them, I
yeah.
told them about BC Bill 4, and they're like,
Yeah.
well, they don't care. And I'm like,
Well,
are you serious?
exactly. They
Yeah.
don't care, right?
Yeah.
And then that's part of the big problem is that no matter what we try to do, if they let stupid shit like that happen, right? It's like we're not going to move forward. We're just going to keep getting regressed back because you allow stuff like that to happen. So it
Mhm.
almost comes down to where it's all like we almost have to have an awareness campaign just on the stupidity of some of these guys before we can even move forward to cleansing everything.
No, it's so dumb.
So federally, do you think we should just reclassify airsoft? Is that what we're saying?
That's
now?
it.
All
I
we
think
need to do,
Dayton's-
yeah,
classification is the best
covers
avenue
so
to fight
many
for.
issues.
Yeah.
It covers so many issues to just classify
Regulate it.
airsoft,
Yeah.
regulate it by age,
Yeah.
and classify what it is.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, and honestly,
But not
if
regulated
they
by
wanted-
license.
No, not at
No,
all.
no, no.
No.
No, but like honestly, air guns, I'm 100% okay with those being in a completely different class than airsoft guns because they are completely different.
Oh, you're
class. You
talking
can
about the steel
metal
like
BBs,
steel
yeah.
BB
air
guns.
guns.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
See,
if-
that's what a BB gun was to me growing up,
Yeah.
right?
But
The
that's-
Red Rider BB gun, you
But
shoot
that's
your
the
eye out.
educational purpose. People can't tell the difference, right?
They don't.
and
It
that's
doesn't
why
matter.
we're setting up in front of Jonathan Wilkinson's office.
Yep. That's
Yep.
right. That's right.
I was actually gonna say, what kind of permit are you gonna get? Because if we're allowed to publicly brandish some firearms, no, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I'll
Do not
some
do that in
research.
front of an MP's office.
Yeah, I'll do some research.
Hey
But,
guys, so
yeah.
this is an airsoft gun. We've got it out here right now. Like,
Instant
hanging
ban.
out in front of my member of parliament's office with
hey, hey, sir, we're just here to
Yeah.
talk to you, and you're running over to him in high ready.
Yeah. Well, so and just
I
to
just
bring it
talk to you about your car's warranty.
well, and just to bring it back about being able to conversate and stuff like that, like we were saying earlier, sometimes it is hard to have this topic with people. I know I've always have a hard time communicating with my parents about this kind of subject because I get it. At the end of the day, for them, they don't care. So to them, as long as it's not hurting anybody, they don't care. But then when they get told that people are getting hurt by it, right, then they're just going to apathetically agree. But we as airsofters, right, and people who are enthusiasts of this kind of thing have to also tone it down and learn to be able to talk and communicate with you, because it's very easy for someone to just, get overloaded and turn their ears off, especially on a subject that they don't want to have anything to do with, especially if they don't care. It's like if someone came up to me and was talking to me about super, super fast cars and stuff like that, ban them. I don't give a shit, right? It's like, it's the same kind of idea, right? But at the same time, if you can give me a reasonable argument, right, and I'm willing to listen, right, then I'd probably agree or compromise to whatever you're kind of discussing. So it's
100%.
really important to sort of, like Poi was saying at the very beginning, right? Stop, take a breath, step back, take the time to analyze, the text and everything like that.
Educate
Take time.
yourself.
Do
Yeah,
not call them a tyrant.
Yeah, just know what you're trying to talk about, because when people do ask you the serious questions, when the time does come and someone does give you their time to listen, right? But you have just been sitting there saying, pick me, pick me, pick me, and then finally the limelight's there and you don't actually have a reasonable way to explain it,
To articulate yourself.
then you just wasted your opportunity to educate someone who could then go out and help educate other people. So you don't want to waste people's time either. So that's something, you really got to, take into account and stuff like that. And that's something that I have to learn on a, almost conversation basis when I talk to my parents about these kinds of stuff.
Oh, it
So,
gets pretty heated in our house. Yeah. It's like coming from a Canadian born in the 50s hippie as my father, and my Japanese born in the height of pacifism Japan. My mother, it's and airsoft coming from Japan. It's actually pretty, it's still a hot topic over there too, right? Because it's like, oh, you're running around playing soldier, like what? Like,
Whoa, does that gun shoot at 100 feet per second? Turn that down a little.
Hey, that's shooting too hard.
whoa,
Okay.
you might bounce off
that
my
hurts.
chest right
Let's
there.
turn it down a bit.
Yeah.
The sound is so loud. Can you
Yeah.
make it quieter?
Did I hear full auto? That sounds dangerous. We're gonna have to cut that down a bit.
Airsoft in Japan?
It's pretty funny.
Hey,
It's
we
quite,
love
it's
them.
quite laughable. Like,
We love them.
Yeah.
We love them.
No, I do. I can't wait to play over there.
Yeah.
Was that a hit?
That felt like a feather.
I'll say hit and they'll keep shooting me because you have to say it with their accent. You have to hito. They're like, what is he saying? Like,
Yeah.
So, is there any
Hey,
other examples of other countries that other than the Netherlands, which I know is fully legalized? Like I know for us, I think we're gonna look to like the UK or European countries because they have a huge ban on guns. For some of their countries in the Europe area there.
they have really strict gun
Very
laws.
strict gun laws, but airsoft still lives on in there, right? Like, for example, like the UK, right? Yeah, they're very anti-gun in terms of their culture and stuff. But airsoft, no problem. Like,
I'd say like 80% of airsoft regulations around the world are based on FPS of the projectile. It's nothing to do with, oh my god, it looks scary. Because in the end, it should always fall into, it looks like a firearm. It should be treated like a firearm. So
Exactly.
It's I feel like there's no need to have this law because everybody knows they should be treated like a firearm. And if you don't treat them like a firearm, then you have that privilege revoked.
Exactly.
Like, I don't get, like, you don't need to preemptively ban all airsoft. Like, so dumb.
When especially using it as the guise of trying to like basically cut down crime and stuff
it's
like
like,
that. When
okay,
we know for a fact that these guys like crimes being committed with like illegal guns and stuff like that.
Like violent crime, what will airsoft do to reduce violent crime in Canada? What signatures are there right now that airsoft guns contribute to violent crime in Canada? If you're wanting to remove violent crime and gun injuries and fatalities, guess what? Guess what the biggest cause of gun injury and fatality in Canada is?
Cars.
Stupid people with cars. The biggest cause of gun deaths. Cars,
or
everybody.
heart disease.
Yeah.
No,
I was gonna
biggest
be
cause
like, I was gonna say
biggest
high
cause-
cholesterol.
biggest cause of firearm injury in Canada is accidents, accidental discharge.
Yeah,
you know.
NDs, yeah.
So hey, guess what? Really thrown a wacky idea out here. Why not make more people own guns that can't blow your hand off? Kind of like airsoft guns.
Sounds like a good idea.
Mind-boggling. If you
Yeah.
want to have the biggest impact on gun injuries and deaths in Canada, make it so that less people use real firearms. And guess what? If you give them the opportunity to use an airsoft gun and go to the field and shoot at people on the weekend, then guess what? They're not going to go use as much real firearms. Now, if you're using it for hunting and whatever, obviously you can't use an airsoft gun. So that argument is not really applicable to you. But for the average gun owner who owns it because it looks cool and they go to the range sometimes to go shooting with their buddies, like,
ammo is expensive,
yeah,
boys.
ammo's expensive.
Yeah, case of 9 mil is no joke. Like, you want to do those 1R1s? I will do 1R1s all day, but with my pistol and airsoft, I could do 1R1s all week.
I'm
exactly.
looking at my tuna can down there and like,
I know, right? It's
Well, and
$700.
and another point to highlight too, guys, right? And this is something that I get into like an argument / laughing match with people who are gun owners, for example, at work, right? They're always like, ha, ha, you know, like if I shot you with my gun, you wouldn't stand up. And it's like, yeah, I know. That's the freaking
I'm aware
point.
of how firearms
Yeah,
work.
see, no, but I
I'm not
always
messing
have
with
this
you.
guy. I
Right?
know
Well,
he's talking about the one hunter we have
well,
at work, and I
but-
always
but-
tell him too. I'm
but I'm
like,
just
yo,
sa-
Bambi ain't never shooting back at you, buddy.
But my point on that, right? And it always pisses me off with gun guys who answer with that kind of attitude. It's like, I'm not playing this to kill someone. I'm playing this to get my yayas out, get competitive with my friends, right? And at the end of the day, appreciate, you know, the cool stuff about, you know, gun culture, as well as, you know, the kit, right? So it's just like there's a whole culture around it, and we're trying to, you know, be responsible and play within the rules and stuff like that. And it's just like so frustrating when people think that because it looks scary to them that it should, you know, get banned on, you know, and I get it. At the end of the day, yeah, it is silly. It is silly. I'm playing dress up and I'm, you know, a nerd. But at the same time, through airsoft, I have met some people that I probably would have never met at doing anything else outside, you know what I mean? Like, you know, it's like there's a lot of people that come together, you know, and that share this kind of, you know, hobby / sport activity. And you can, you know, make some really cool friendships out of that, you know, and I don't see why something like that should be taken away. You know what I mean?
Well,
Like
one-
it might
One of
go
the
ahead, Dean.
points, one of the points that I make in my next C-21 video is the impact that this is going to have on the airsoft community. And what I would say 80-90% of the impact that it's going to be is the kid that we know at Airsoft who saved up all of his money so he could talk his parents into getting him an airsoft gun, and now he's having the time of his life at the airsoft field, is now going to be told, sorry, you're not responsible enough for this anymore. Actually, you're not responsible for it at all. Neither are your parents. You have to keep it in your house and never use it again. Like, all you're going to be doing is ruining, like, how many kids own one gun and put all of their money into it? Like,
right?
All of them. Like, all you're doing is destroying a kid's easy access to, you know, physical health and team building and something that they learned how to save up money and make a big buy. Like, you're not doing anything to help anything. All you're doing is taking things away from someone.
Yeah.
It's not a gun. It's a toy.
On a side note, if you haven't watched South Park episode about airsoft, go watch it. They make a valid good point.
Funny, dude. I'm not even gonna lie. It hit on so many points, boy, and I love that you showed that to me. Like,
if you can get over the unrealisticness of airsoft in the video,
and
like the full auto bolt action sniper.
Yo, are you sure, Dayton? I swear that felt like a Jet Desert Fox game.
No,
there.
he was using my sniper with the double finger. That's what he was using.
Damn, Cartman. Damn.
So
but do you know what I mean? Like, it's kids. It's
Oh.
like, I know when I got my first airsoft gun, if I had it taken away right away, I'd be like, okay, I have no money now. Like,
that's the angle that we use for the national level when it comes to talking about airsoft is the community part. Is it seems like that got ignored really quick, and it just just
Well,
having to
the
re-put it
airsoft
in here. They
community
just
is the only thing keeping airsoft going right now. Like the only thing that's keeping airsoft going are, first up, the players, second, the fields, three, the stores. The players going to the fields, making it so that fields can be somewhat profitable and actually stay open for airsoft players to play, and then those airsoft players buying airsoft guns. Like if they make it so that, okay, now we're gonna have to wait 2 years before there's a gun on the market that you can own in Canada and play airsoft with, because they're going to have to design it, manufacture it, produce it, and send it over here, and then somehow jump through all the legal jump holes to get it, the legal loopholes to get it sold in Canada now after this ban. It's like everybody's going to have to reinvest all their money. It's not like they can sell their old airsoft stuff to get money back to buy new ones. It's not like airsoft guns are going to be in the gun buyback, and it's like
not.
Like it's just going to be a complete write-off to everyone who's invested money into it. The companies who are going to have inventory now that's illegal to sell, airsoft players who all the money they've invested is going to be useless, airsoft fields that have poured money into the fields is now going to be useless. Like it's just destroying.
Yeah.
And in the end, is it making people safer? I would argue it's going to make it more dangerous, because now instead of playing airsoft, I'm going to go to the firing range and go play with a real gun.
Yeah.
Like,
hey, if we all have our pals and we all have level 3 armor,
Oh,
if I hit you in,
22s and
if
level
I hit
3s.
you
Yeah,
in the
let's do it.
chest, like technically, this could still be a thing. And if we all get work helmets, like, you know, those ballistic rated, okay, I'll shut up.
Oh my gosh.
no
Just
ideas,
saying.
please.
It could be like instead of a $100 million industry, it could turn into like a 100 billion.
$1 trillion.
Shibbity
And
doo.
sharks with
So
lasers.
they did mention that they are gonna work. They're gonna consult with the industry. I'm pretty sure.
Hey,
have you been
welcome
contacted?
to
Have you
the
been contacted?
industry in Canada? Guess who not only hasn't been contacted but has not been
Consulted.
responded to in any way other than a mass response email. Yeah, like I'm the biggest airsoft content creator. Pat on the back, Dayton.
Yeah, you get that. You get that.
But no, in a non-bragging way, like
Yeah.
I'm very much someone they would contact if they reached out in any way to try and understand what airsoft is. And guess what? They didn't reach out in any way. Not even after for 4 months I tried to contact them.
Even
Like,
after it got
even
ended.
after
yeah,
all that, I contacted them for 4 months. It ended, and then no response, no callback, no nothing, until bam, exactly the exact same thing. There's been no correspondence. There's been nothing. There's been no effort to make any understanding of what it is, which is why I think I need to go out
It
front of his
proceeded to
office
contact
and
Prairie Dog.
do some.
His YouTube channel was less threatening.
No, and you're right, Dayton, because I totally understand that frustration where you feel like it like no matter what, they hide behind all these layers and layers, and my dad always told me too, like, if you really want to talk to these people, you really got to just be at their office, because you know what, we voted them in, right? They are using our tax dollars to be paid to sit in that office to do work and stuff like that, so they are gosh darn going to listen to us when we want to have a conversation with them, because this, you know, we have something that we want to discuss, and that's what they're there for. And if they don't want to discuss it, it's really shows, you know, how sad the situation is.
Well, it's because they have no argument to it. I mean, if you watched my video,
Mhm.
I was asking them questions that they just straight up couldn't answer. And they're like, oh, that's like the one guy legitimately said, I can't remember exactly what I said, but his response was, that's a very good point. I wonder what the answer is to that. And it's like, well, freaking, yeah, it's a very good point. Give me a freaking reason. Don't just say that's a good point. Anyways, these are the other reasons why I think that it should be banned. It's like, no, come on. Give us an answer.
Yeah, like have actual discourse and conversation, not the same like campaign sort of like speech that they want to like shoot back at us, because it gets so annoying too, right? Like how many, like you said, for 4 months you were sending emails, calls, and
I was calling every single week. I was calling.
Dude.
Yeah,
he was
man.
calling
Like
every
2-3
day.
times a week, and then I was also sending emails after every phone call saying, in regards to our previous phone call, please get back in touch with me, here's my phone number. like every single
it was
time.
like a freaking machine.
And then finally the response that they sent was basically verbatim what Bill Blair said and exactly what they sent out to everybody else.
We're not trying to take
it
away
didn't
your
even have
sport.
my name in it. Like
Yeah,
the
well,
email was just like,
hey, here's something you can send out to all those pesky emailers.
yeah.
Well, and that's another point too, and that's a great thing about ASIC was that they collected all that information, and for everyone who's still here listening and whatnot, right? If you get a reply back, send it to us, send it to ASIC, because it lets them literally
They
paint
literally
a picture
put all of them
and
next to each
show.
other.
It's like, hey, these individual people ask these questions, and this is what they got. A blanket statement.
It's basically them and ASIC like going enhance and then overlay, and then it's like, wait, they're matching. They're matching.
The Law and Order soundtrack is like
Yeah,
I can tell you, yeah,
it's pretty hard.
I could tell you a lot of those things that they send out, once they figure out, how to respond to it, they send it out as a blanket statement to
because
all
it's
their
party
MPs.
lines, right?
Yeah,
Exactly.
they have to tug the party line, and that's what they're ordered to do.
No,
Yeah.
I'm for this next video, I'm not going to release it until I get a statement from him. I'm going to make sure that there's
I was gonna be like, man, you wait.
And I would recommend.
Yo, do you want to ambush him with the pan?
bonk.
No, sorry,
Our
my
news
microphone
network.
for my news segment.
Oh yeah, okay. No, I'll probably
should-
stick with the regular microphone.
You should you
Ouch.
should ask
Look,
Jack
we're on a
to,
budget, okay?
ask Jack to put in like a timeline, like a website, and then just a timeline of you just like doing any actions, so that it shows like what you've done and what you've written out and sent out.
I can make an updated,
Or even like a recording of a phone call, right?
I should,
Yeah,
you know what I should
yeah.
do? I should start uploading all of my recordings to a Discord room, because I can just record MP3s and then just upload the whole phone call.
Yeah,
and
and
I can show you guys, like I have 2 recorded phone calls where they both end in literally the exact same sentence of, don't worry, you're on the top of our list, we'll give you a call back next week. Like the exact same. And the best part is they're like 2 months apart, so it's like, yeah, we'll call you back next week. 2 months later, we're just a real busy next week, I promise.
Yeah.
Hey,
We have a re-election coming up.
Parliament's
We'll
going
call
on
you back
break.
never.
Hey guys, we're really busy.
Yeah.
And then Parliament like dissolves. Well, oh well.
No, I'm gonna go to their office. We're gonna go meet them.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know if you guys want to keep ranting on here. It's been 2 hours now.
I gotta go.
I'm pretty ranted out. I'm sorry. I might have said a little too much. I apologize.
That's fine. We all needed to vent because it's back again, and it's just that this time we have no re-elections to like fall back to. We have no minority government and fall like to rely on for them not being able to pass. There's a coalition now. That's the scary part, right? Whether NDP, like we're gonna have to like get on to NDP if you're in an NDP like riding area. Like,
well, luckily for us, we're
go talk to them.
BC,
Yeah.
and BC's predominantly NDP. So if you guys, hey, this is our perfect opportunity on the west side here, right? Is to literally talk to our constituents.
Fuck Jake meat. Sorry.
Whoa.
Sorry. Sorry. I had a bad cough.
But yeah, no, and I appreciate everyone, that has come in here to listen to us and everything like that, and everyone who's still here, getting informed and everything like that. I just want to remind everyone to, again, be calm, collected, and help educate people. And if people don't want to listen, then just stop the conversation there, because there's no point in trying to pursue something only to get a negative vote, right? Someone can be neutral on the situation, but if you keep pressing the topic, they can turn negative real quick, and that's the last thing we want to do, is to have a bunch of negative allies. We want positive allies or neutral allies, because people who are neutral can see bullshit in front of their eyes and then make a decision for themselves.
Yep. The Bloc Québécois, I want them to fucking call this for what it is. Just like last time. I want her to come in and rip this apart, like that really hot French MP, like, oh god, yeah.
Okay.
You can lecture me anytime.
This is why you're in politics.
Dude, I've never watched so much CPAC in the last 2 years. Like,
so with that said, do we have any more closing statements from anyone?
Get informed, get educated, and
No,
Just
just
wait.
others know.
thanks to
Just wait.
Dayton for putting us out there and bringing his crew in here too. A lot of people that came over from his
Yeah,
side, and
thank you guys for coming and listening.
yeah, people from outside of I know some of the guys have said that they're not from Canada, so honestly, welcome. Thanks for listening to our plight. It sucks. I know you guys have seen this coming, but really appreciate you guys just coming in here. And again, it's just about spreading the word, the information, and starting the dialogue, because honestly, if it's when we don't talk about it is when it just happens and there's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Nothing.
Go ahead.
Well, so it's just that, that whole golden kind of thing where it's just like silence is agreement, right?
Mhm.
And I used to have, a boss tell me that all the time where, if I didn't speak up, well, things were just going to happen passively because you're being passive aggressive. So,
All right.
Well said, everybody. Well said.
Okay, well, we'll close this off. Thank you very much, Dayton. Thanks, guys. Yeah, I think we made our point. There's a lot of things that we got to do. There's a lot of things in the background that's happening. Yeah,
You got a lot of meetings.
Yeah, I do.
Oh, Also, I
yeah, go
should
ahead.
say, my backup plan for getting to talk to Jonathan Wilkinson, and we'll need some help from people around the community for this, but all I have to do is get 100 signatures and fill out a bunch of paperwork, and I think it costs like $1,000 to file them, but I can get myself on the ballot for North Vancouver. And if I do that, I become a competitor in the running for North Vancouver, meaning I would be able to get much easier access to Jonathan Wilkinson.
Are you serious? You
So
want to get on the ballot?
all I need to do is get 100 signatures.
I will get you on the ballot.
We
I
can
know.
get you 100 signatures.
I will
no
get
problem.
you on the ballot.
But it has to be from my
Yeah,
constituency.
North Van
So,
residents, right?
yeah.
I will get you on the ballot.
So all I have to do is that, and then I can register under what's that joke Canadian one? It's like the Rhino Party or something like that. What is it called?
You mean the weed party?
No, there's a Canadian party that's just like a
Yes,
joke party.
I know the Rhino something. Oh, gosh,
I thought
What are they
I gotta
called?
look. Are you looking it up?
I thought it was the flying spaghetti monster party.
No,
No,
that's
that's a
church.
religion.
There's another
That's a
one.
religion.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
So we're gonna see future Dayton as prime minister. Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
I'm getting into politics.
Oh,
Okay.
boy, that's-
Well, that's
a
what
first
happens
here, guys.
when you push
Are
someone
you
too
shut?
far.
Okay. Oh, but Parti de
Oh no, it's
Rhinoceros.
just called the Rhinoceros Party.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
well,
actually.
okay.
Is it actually?
All right.
fucking- Oh my god.
All right. The Rhino Party. Well,
right.
all right, guys. With that being said, this has been episode 88 of the Panther Airsoft Folding Table Talk, talking about Bill C-21. It is back. If you guys have liked this, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. And if you want to keep seeing us all the time, hit that bell notification, and you'll see us on your notifications. With that being said, guys, we love you. We'll see you on the next one.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye bye.
Have a good night.
Goodbye.